morning everybody, Cam Biker here. Just working my way through the Beverley traffic. Sunday traffic, always the worst. Always busy from the tourists, but also I'm pretty sure some of these drivers never get out of the house and drive anywhere apart from on a Sunday. You seem to get a lot of people who've probably been driving for a long time but have not really ever got any good at it. I'm heading off on a ride that's going to be 4.5 hours, and be a bit longer than that once I've had a stop for a cup of tea and maybe had a look at a few things and taken a couple of photos. But I'm doing a bit of my lanes challenge. It doesn't look like my lanes challenge, but it's part of my planning. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I had an idea that I would draw a line on the Calimoto map to do an entire perimeter of East Yorkshire, and then I know that every lane within that perimeter, within that line, when I'm planning out further rides, will be a lane that I need to ride down to complete the challenge. So what I'm doing today is I'm heading to the most northerly point of the route, or of the perimeter I should say, and then heading east, and I'm going to ride down the east coast. Now technically I suppose I don't really need to do the east coast because I'm not going to accidentally go outside of that unless I end up getting sandy and then very, very wet. But that's something to do on a Sunday, isn't it? I've already done from the northernmost point to the west and to the very southwest. I did that the other night, but I had a problem with my recording, so there's no video coming out of that one. So I will be left after this ride with just from the southwest across to the kind of south in the middle to finish off, because I'm going to finish today in Hull. So I'll have from Hull to a place called Pollington, which is the most southwesterly that I'm going. But I won't be doing that today. That's where I went the other night and realised that these lanes can take quite a long time to ride round. So it was actually another 4-hour trip, where I did 4 hours and about 120 miles or something, and today is similar, except at the end of this one I won't be at home. I'll be near my parents' house, so I'm going to go and see how they are, see what they think of what happened last night across the country and in Hull, which was the rioting. So if you know where if you know about the rioting in Britain, you'll know where I am in the calendar. Probably quite a long way a long way behind when it actually happened. Hopefully it's not still happening by the time I get this video out. This is the problem with Calimoto. It wants me to turn left here, and I'm not going to, because the other night when I came this way to get to that northernmost starting point, it made me go down there, and I thought, I can't remember planning it, but I must have planned a little side road or something there. What it actually did was it took me over there, then turned right again, and then joined back up with this road. Well, I found myself now on a lane. I'm not even sure if this is one I've actually planned, to be honest. It might be. As I say, it was a while since I planned this route, so I am now completely flying blind, just following the sat-nav, or at least trying to. I quite often quite often miss when it wants to send me somewhere. But yeah, nice that as soon as you get on these kind of lanes, the traffic kind of just stops. Suddenly you've got the world to yourself again. Oh, I wonder where this is. Oh, I think it's about to send me back onto a main road again, actually. Maybe Calimoto gave me another weird detour that happened to fill in one of the lanes I wanted. What's that star on the wall for? Now this is now part of the route that I definitely planned. We are now on a lane I expected to be on. Rockery Cottage. Yeah, that last one does seem to have been a detour on a road that actually I go down that road quite often, but I've never turned off at the place I did, and I've never come back on at the place I did either. Now I'm properly exploring new places. I'm now skating along the northern edge of the East Riding of Yorkshire. So to my left is North Yorkshire's that way a little bit, and to my right is East Yorkshire. And I suspect as I go down this road I'll kind of switch in and out of the two. I'm not entirely sure, but there's certainly parts of this route that are not actually in East Riding, but that give that perimeter. I say where I am because when I was doing a lanes ride that I published probably a week or so ago, quite a few people said that they liked the idea of the challenge and that they liked following along the roads, and in some cases they weren't sure where they were. Well, we're at Octon. Never heard of it. I've never heard of it, I've never been here, but I have now. So I'll try and mention some of the places as I go. I even, on one of the rides, got Graham somewhere where he'd never been before. He was actually on that ride. Took him down a road he'd never ridden down. I did not think that was possible. Oh, we're at Strawhenge. I found it interesting that different farms seem to stack things different ways. Is that just different machinery, or is it an artistic choice? Some of them seem to have these stacks, some of them seem to line things up. I quite like that kind of sentinel style stacks of straw or hay, whichever it is. I guess some of it came from over here. Well, let's stop here for a quick view. I'm not really at risk of blocking anybody. So if you see for a long way, this is what it's all about for me really, is say finding these new roads and these new things to look at. When I went out the other day, or the other evening, and did that 4-hour ride, I actually went round it all a bit quickly, so I'm not too worried about losing that video, because in the end I did talk on it quite a bit, but I didn't really stop and look at anything. I saw a couple of things that I thought, right, I'll definitely like to have a look at those and maybe take a photograph. But I was up against it with time, because it was by the time I was finished it was pitch black, and this type of road in pitch black is not particularly fun because you can't spot the potholes and the gravel quite so easily, and you know, you're not exactly exploring and seeing new things if it's too dark to see. Also, I forgot to take my camera with me the other night. Today I've brought a camera. I've wanted to do photography. I've wanted to try and get good at it. I'm not good at it by any means. I'm absolutely hopeless. I think I've taken the odd good photograph, but through luck, not judgment. When I bought a DSLR second hand off Tosh 23 when he upgraded his to a more professional camera, and he started his professional photography sideline business, and really enjoy playing with it, but I'm just not that good. Caught me out again. I need to keep an eye on that sat nav. Last minute turns because I forget. Yeah, I'm just not that good. I took a couple of apparently really good photographs. There was one that I sent to Tosh and said, what do you think of this? And he said, now that is a photograph. The problem is I didn't really know why it was a good photograph. So I think the problem I have is I don't practice enough, and I think a lot of the problem with that is that when I've got free time I like to be out riding my bike, and my camera with all of its lenses and whatnot is heavy and too big to fit in the top box. So the other day I had an idea, a bolt out of the blue, and that idea was to get myself a new camera. Funny enough, to get myself a new camera that isn't actually as good as the camera I already have. So I bought a bridge camera, which is kind of DSLR shaped, but you can't change the lenses on it. And there's a couple of other things you can't do on it that you can do with a DSLR, but I'll live without, because it gives me an opportunity to actually have the camera with me and use it. The camera at home when I'm out is not anything I'm going to learn how to get better at photography with. So I've got the little bridge camera with me in the top box. Hopefully I can take a photo or two while I'm out with it. Also the quality won't be as good because, you know, the lens is not as fast, the sensor is smaller, various other bits and pieces, but as I say, the camera that's with you is the one you can use, and I'm not a good enough photographer for it to make much difference anyway. I've seen from many YouTube videos that a good photographer with a bad camera can produce better photographs than a bad photographer with the best camera in the world. Where are we now? Fordon, I don't know. Nice little valley. A tiny little church. Really is a small church, that one. I guess Fordon's not very big. Not highly populated. Just nestled away in the trees there. I'll give it a chance of a photograph. Well, I've tried to take a picture. I'm sure there's a picture in there somewhere, but I was struggling to see it myself. How do you develop an eye for a photograph? I do not know. Time to continue on the lanes.